New OGs. The New OGs is a State and Madison Entertainment production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is black-owned and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience, and they even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free Yeah, wait, I can't hear you. What happened to your volume? Where you at? Oh, there you are. Okay, you're there. Luckily, I was looking for you. I almost lost you there. I thought I was... what's going on, X?
I just want to make sure there's a lot of stuff going on. It's hot back summer happening.
Right.
And people are getting messages mixed up. So I want to make sure we got this right.
Let's get this one straight.
You can save money every month on an electric bill that you got to pay any goddamn way.
You can, yep, you're going to have to pay an electric bill anyway. You can save money on that bill. Might as well do that. Sounds like a good idea to me.
And you can try to help save some of South Florida and maybe part of California completely wipe the fuck off the earth, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could do something good for the environment.
And even if you don't have a roof or you can't do it or whatever, you refer somebody else and they do it, you get $500 every time?
Yeah, you can get $500 every time you do that. In fact, it's up to, I believe, $20,000 you can get tax-free because it's all digital. So the first $20,000. How many people can you find at $500 worth to do that? Yeah.
Man, that's almost as good as having sex with 4 people at the same time.
Yeah, well,
it's better than 3 people, but not better than 4.
Right? No, it's 4 is tough to beat. 4 is tough to beat.
Because you get there from all angles, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's a good deal.
It's a good deal, yeah. Well, listen, if you want to be able to afford the types of condoms it takes to fuck 4 people at the same time, get over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consultation or refer somebody that you know. You might need to get a hotel room as well if you're going to do all that. We are also,
Airbnb.
There you go. We are also don't give away the Airbnb, the actual Airbnb secret. That's how they're staying afloat right now.
Okay, hold on. Scottie Pippen put his Airbnb up during the Olympics for $92 a night. His actual crib in Chicago.
Right.
$92 a night because that's the last time he was in the Olympics.
Right.
The poll that they had on ESPN was, would you fuck in Scottie Pippen's crib? That's literally the poll that they put up. So I don't think the secret is a secret.
I have had sex in one famous NBA player / head coach. I've had in his house. I've had sex in a house of. No, I have not fucked in Steve Kerr's house, but associated to team Steve Kerr has played for.
Wow, that's a whole lot of information right there.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
you can get to the headline of that.
Yeah, you can probably
story.
find that one pretty easily. I mean, I'm from Chicago, so you could run a lineage back, and at some point you'd run into a guy who both played and coached in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I've had sex in his house. But I'm not going to put his name out there because that would definitely
make sure you don't have sex there again.
Not that will happen, but if I say the name, then he definitely will know that I've said his name, and I'm not doing that. So fuck all that shit. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. See all the great shows that are offered there. Check in daily as they have new, fresh podcasts you can watch and listen to wherever you listen to pods. That's the network that we're on. James, we've been seeing you so much lately. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
It's cool.
Finally back in Chicago. I love it.
We're doing stuff. We're recording we're putting content together. We're going to blow this thing out a little bit more. We don't take enough pictures together, guys. We don't. I have some friends who do some podcasts and I mean, guys in general don't seem to be great at that.
I never. Dude, it's one of the things that's most embarrassing. I talk about my kid a lot. I talk about him on stage a lot. And I always get women, not even somebody trying to make a pass at me, they just like the material. And they go, oh my God, let me see a picture of your son. And the pictures I had would always be from 3 or 4 fucking years ago. I'm with him all the time, but as we don't say, hey son, let's selfie. It feels awkward to me.
Yeah.
Even Oh wow! Like sometimes if he has something special event or something, I'll take a picture of him. But I usually don't take pictures with him because it's like I'm standing here with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my kid was hold on. My kid was I take pictures with her just because trying to get that time with her is so important. You know what I mean? And so like trying to get in there to actually see her is a big deal for me. The stupid thing. So
that's 100%. I 100% get that.
That's the only issue. But yeah, if I was spending,
now I kind of feel like a dick.
Well, you spend a lot more time with your kid than I get to spend with mine.
I know. That's why I feel like a dick because I knew that beforehand, and now I feel like a dick because I feel like I was not rubbing that in on you, Bobby.
Oh no, I didn't take it that way. I didn't take it that. We're all good. Is that your OG? Is that your OG moment of the week? Yeah, man. We know you see your kids so much you don't even think about taking
Mr.
no picture.
Basketball player, son. You know, I know how wonderful your life is. It's certain places you won't even go in the zip code. Like, nope, not going over there.
Hey man, hey, wow.
I've been going to war this past week. I have a standard rule in my household, and that rule is like, here's the thing. My wokeness goes too far. I think I was talking about this before. I've had some bug issues in my house, and like my wokeness only goes so far, and where I draw the line is where the wokeness where people are just like, and you shouldn't kill insects. That's where it ends for me. You know what I mean? Like outdoor bugs are fine. I'm cool with outdoor bugs, but I'm not fucking with like in my house. The rule is very simple. As long as I don't see you, you could be inside the house. Once I see you though, you gotta die. Like I've thrown out one bumblebee. That's it. Everybody else, death. Just straight death, right?
Yeah, but Bobby has like a bug apartheid.
So like, look, here's what happens. So I'm at the crib and like I get woken up early in the morning and asked to come into the kitchen because it's like 6 a.m. and I'd only been asleep for like 2.5 hours. And the light gets flipped on in the kitchen, and descending from the center light bulb, like fucking Mission Impossible, are like 10 baby spiders.
What?
All just fucking slowly descending down. So I went and grabbed like a napkin and very slowly like nipped each one of them in the napkin one by one because I knew if I hit them in a bunch, I could create, who knows where they would go, right? And the problem that I have with seeing like 10 baby spiders is that means that there's been a whole hatchling of babies that happen. And you know how spiders work? They don't just have 10 babies. That's just not what happens. They have a whole fuck ton of babies. So in my mind, I'm just like, oh, there's an army of spiders raising up against me. And maybe I've earned this, but we have to do something about it. You know what I mean? Like, I have been very unkind to these fucking insects for sure. And people have told me, they're just like, yeah, man, let the spiders live. They eat the other bugs. And so I let spiders live for a while, and then I end up with spiders and bugs. They're just, they don't hold up their end of the bargain when it comes down to it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, well, now I'll get something for. So I ordered a spray, right? I ordered this shit. And the spray, I know it's good because normally when they send you some bug spray, it's just a bottle, right? You just get a bottle, you spray. This shit, it's got a cord attached to the jug. Like I'm an Orkin man. So, you know what I mean? Like I know, I'm just like, oh, these things, it's called Miss Muffet's Revenge, which is also just like.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
All
right.
I thought they were friends in that fucking nursery rhyme. They're not friends? Yeah, so I did a little spraying, and I haven't seen any spiders for a while.
How does that nursery rhyme go? Little Miss
Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider that sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away.
Yeah, Miss Muffet don't fuck with that spider.
I was thinking the same thing.
See, I'm very Miss Muffety about my spiderism in the house. It's just a standard rule. I'm not fucking with y'all.
You are like a monster in the spider community of Milwaukee. There's folklore about the bald, light-skinned one.
Yeah, they're like, you gotta be.
Community centers like, hey, this is a pandemic with this dude.
You gotta be careful with that guy. He's a problem. You know what I mean? He's gonna ruin everything that's going on if we don't do something about it. What's going on with you guys, man? What's anything wild this last week? I know your boy's balling.
I had some wild shit last night. My son is playing in the summer league basketball, and I coincidentally did a game show that each one of us has done either together or apart called Code Names. It's a big thing up in well, it's not a big thing up in Canada, but it's a thing up in Canada, and it should be down here too because it's online. But anyway, I had a appearance on that show during my son's game. So I was in the backseat of my car next to a park in the parking lot of this linen cleaning facility, like this linen, like they take hotel,
like a goddamn weirdo.
Yeah. I look like such a creep. I look like such a creep.
If anybody would have showed up there, you would have had to try to explain this.
So this is what happened. Like I have my lap, just to give the audience. I'm not gonna be long with this. So I just want to give you a picture of what's happening. I'm in the backseat of a fucking Honda CR-V. I'm 6'7", pounds. I'm big, and so my laptop is in the front seat. I have an HD camera dangling down from my moonroof with the cord attached to my laptop, so I can see the feed. And they can get a good picture of me.
Right.
I bought my microphone and everything, have it tapped in. Basically,
do you got a ring light?
The same setup I have right now in my garage. I just put it in the backseat of my Honda CR-V. And we're live. We're fucking going, and I've been online. I've been doing this for like 45 minutes, nothing. And everybody's joking like there's gonna be a SWAT team outside your car like by the time the end.
Yeah.
And this really nice white Lexus pulls up, and this really buff Jason Statham looking motherfucker, like just like Jason Statham, 5'6" and all, but he's like ripped. And he walked up to me with so much confidence, and I'm pretty sure he would have fucked me up. Like if it was a problem.
XL's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, by the way. I don't know if you know what's going on.
I'm pretty sure this dude, like he could see how big I was, and he was not worried at all.
Right.
He walked up to me and goes, "Hey, you okay, buddy? We got a problem."
What? Wait, what?
He was the dude that owned the linen business, and his question of me was very accurate and appropriate. Like I was sitting in the backseat of my car, looking like a creep across from a fucking park, and with video equipment.
Right.
So I was either surveying him, 5-0 surveying him poorly, or some kind of creep. Which in this neighborhood, neither one of those things are good.
Right.
And in a reaction, because I saw like the expression on his face and shit, I just grabbed my camera and I showed him. I was like, "Dude, I'm doing a game show in Canada online. Like, you're on it right now." When I put the camera on him, he freaked out a little bit. Not like,
well, yeah, man.
Like,
because he was ready to fight. Oh, damn! I'm on some bullshit.
Yeah. So then he's like, "Hey, it's okay." He kind of walked away laughing. But I've also realized, like, his look and where I was at and the type of business that place was. That motherfucker very much could have been somebody that didn't want to be on camera.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You could have just you may have Alexander Solkov or something looking for your ass. I don't even know if that's a real person. I just made up something from a race of people who probably can't be offended if I say a name that sounds like that. You know what I mean? Like, how dare you be mad? You guys are oppressors.
But it was a bad night. It was a bad night for the XL family. I lost on the game show, and my son lost his playoff game. So we both came home pissed off.
And now you have a European mobster looking for you. So
yeah.
You hit the trifecta.
On top of that,
this is how our revenge story begins, Rob.
You got a problem?
This is how our revenge story begins. We have to go save XL and his son after they've been kidnapped. Just you and me having a terrible time on the road.
Hey, man, the only thing I got.
I don't mean no offense, but if they get me and that young nigga I got, don't.
That's what makes it so hilarious. That's what makes it so.
I don't think you guys should come.
We just let him have you.
Hey, it'll be just like every other buddy comedy movie where somebody had a weird objective that weren't up to the task. And the only thing I know how to do is shoot people, so it's gonna be a bunch of bodies.
We'd be like, "Hey, it's the new OGs with Rob and Bobby." Hey,
okay, now we can go forward.
Remember XL? He used to be a guy, didn't he? He was a man one time.
Oh my God. Bad Boys 4.
Wait a minute. He said you used to be a man at one time.
Hey, remember XL? He was a guy on this show.
Oh my God! We'll
Yeah, he
never
got
find
kidnapped by some guy. I'm not.
never
I don't
find
know.
him.
I guess he's gone.
I mean, if we find him, I can shoot at him. But that's all I got. That's all I got.
That's crazy. Rob, how's your time been in Chicago, man? You've been back now for almost a month. You leave next week, right?
Yeah, I leave Monday. I got some. I think I'm working a show in LA. I don't know where or what it is yet. I got to look at my. You know how I am. I'm getting better, but I'm still not perfect at it. So everything has been amazing, man. Hannibal's in town. I'm gonna get to hang out a little bit with my mans and them for a minute.
Nice.
But it was just, it's been, the energy has been outstanding. I've been having a good time. I got to hang around the fam a little bit. That always fills my soul and helps me to come up with joyous shit being around my family. And I got a little bit of that to do.
Some new material out of this.
No material. Man, my mother is a something. I mean, she is a whole entire something. Like, she cannot. There is nowhere that this woman will ever find happiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could give her a brick of gold. She could be like, boy, this shoulder is heavy. Oh my God, that's all I can say because she already gonna be mad when she hears that. It's gonna be rough times at the crib.
Oh, Robert, I watched the show.
Yeah, I seen your show, boy. Don't put my business
Why don't you come sit down next to me for a minute?
Is she one of them Jesus
You
Bible
go in the
ladies?
room and it's her and her father and your father, and you're just like, oh shit, I got this fighting ass nigga. He
Not
just wants
just
to fight me
her
all
and
the
my father. Her, my father, and the Bible. Right there. Right there.
Oh, sparing the rod, spoiling the child. What a great way to destroy a continent. There's been a lot of continent destruction going on. We're supposed to be getting a bunch of money. I don't know if we're going to see it or if how long it's going to hold up. They're probably going to tax it back out of us when we lose when we lose Congress in next year's election.
Yep.
Although Biden came out and he gave this big speech on, how this is the new Jim Crow going on with these Texas laws. If you're not sure what's going on, if you're not like a political maniac like we kind of are, Texas Democrats left the state. There were 70 of them. They left the state together. It was paid for through their own shit, so they're not using taxpayer money. They ran out of the state so there wouldn't be this vote that was going to restrict voting in this crazy way. And so Biden gave this speech basically just kind of being like, they're on Jim Crow shit, man. What do you want? They want some bullshit. He didn't say filibuster though, which is a problem because that's why they can't pass the Voting Rights Act that they're trying to pass.
Yeah, it's fucking Manchin is still on his dumbass shit. He met with them, and everybody asked the question, like, you didn't say filibuster, and he had the nerve to get mad, like, there is no filibuster thing. Basically, he's arguing, like he ain't gonna never change. At this point, I can't tell if it's just the racism. It's gotta be just it's just gotta be the racism. But what the fuck else could it possibly be that he would be so hard ass on, like he doesn't sound like a person who could be reasoned with about it. He sounds like a dude like, I've made up my mind. He sounds like a motherfucker talking about abortion.
Joe Manchin? I mean, the Exxon tapes, dude. This dude is literally, he's a paid for guy. That's his thing. He's towing this line because he gets to be a Democrat in a place of conservatives. West Virginia, it would be a Republican. There'd be a Republican senator if it wasn't for Joe Manchin. And that's it. And unfortunately, the only way they're going to be able to have a shot at maintaining the presidency in 2024 is by maintaining Congress until that time comes. And without Joe Manchin, that's not going to happen. But they need to get some shit passed before, the best thing they could do would be to add more senators and make Joe Manchin be not important anymore, right? That's the best thing is to have 55 Democratic senators and then you can really fucking figure some shit out. Now you only got to deal with a few Republicans, right? Or that would be and then Joe Manchin, who gives a fuck about Joe Manchin? If you have 55 senators, go ahead, vote with the Republicans, dummy. Look have fun. Who gives a shit? We still got 54, right? But
you didn't need 54. You need 52. Really?
Yeah. I know. I threw a bigger number out for the sake of it, right? Because there's always going to be some other moderate,
some other dick.
Yeah, exactly. So trying to claim some power, right? And so the real key is but the only way you can get to the part where you get senators who win and make that happen is you got to pass some shit before you get there, right? Like you got to pass some shit while Joe Manchin is in this position of power, because the only way you can prove that your ideas are good, right? Like how do you believe the Democrats have good ideas if you don't get to see those things in action? Right? Like you've been toting this, we're going to talk about the child tax credit. You've been towing this thing about like, hey man, once people start seeing this money, it's going to mean something. Right? Like
they did what you asked them to do. Like they started I want to say Sunday or Monday. It was literally a series. First, it was a bunch of Congress people tweeting the shit. Then it was news stories. Then it was like bang, it was bang, bang, bang. And the president came out with it. I can't imagine people can consistently, like, they're going to be getting these checks from the evil devil government for a year and a half.
Right.
And they and
300 per child. 300 per child per month.
And they go keep hating them.
Right. If you have 3 kids, which, you know, families that definitely yeah, editorial,
it's 300 up to I think age 6 or 7. And then it's $250 per kid, but still.
That's still dope though.
It's still
you know what I mean?
Dope.
Like you're still talking
dope.
You're still talking
you don't
like
gotta do nothing really to get it.
You're still talking like $800 a month if you got 1 kid under that at the 300 and 2 at the 250. You still talking about $800 a month for just like because you had 3 kids. And you could almost, like, if you've been handling everything else, so, like, if you've been handling rent and, like, you've been eating kind of dog shit or whatever and the kids only got a few sets of clothes or whatever, bro, $800 a month, you can take that with 3 kids and you could do quite a bit, honestly. You know what I mean? Like,
so here, that and the fact that SNAP benefits have been increased because of the pandemic. Each kid gets their own extra SNAP benefits right now. That's what's been going on from.
Here's the difficulty. So this is what I was listening to today. So in 2008, when Obama did all the fucking, they passed like $2 trillion in plans with the ACA and all this other shit. Then when they were doing the focus groups afterwards to find out like, what have you heard? Like, what do you know? Some of the big things that Obama's done. People were blank, and like what the guy was saying was like, and this was a guy who worked in the Obama office. He goes, we would go out and we'd hit all the metrics, right? Like the news and the shares and the fucking coverage and all that should be amazing. And then they get in these focus groups and they'd be like, all right, are you familiar with what Obama's been doing? And they're just like blank stares, right? Like for some reason that wasn't getting so like. It's good that they're making news like this. It better get that. They better fucking put on specials where they're just like, what have you done with your extra $900 you got this month?
Okay, so here's the difference. Biden sent out a letter this week with his signature on it, his name and his signature.
There it is.
Explaining it.
Yes.
That he sent this money.
Yes.
Okay, and and he's talking about it.
Yeah, I mean they got to go on tour.
Obama didn't want to end zone dance
right
with the ACA because he was concerned about, you know, I mean, we know what the fuck he was concerned about.
Yeah.
And so he didn't
being the first nigga being too loud. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It is so very much wrong with everything y'all was just talking about. I mean, I'm not saying that you guys were wrong.
Right.
I'm saying that the situation is so very fucking wrong.
Yeah.
First of all, the Joe Manchin thing, the first thing that you said was all that needed to be said. Joe Manchin is owned by the Koch brothers and all these other rich motherfuckers. So he is there to stand in the way of any progress that might help anybody get closer to them or to take anything away from them. In other words, the workforce, they all crying about how they can't find people to work. But that's because they don't fucking have to. You understand? Like for whatever reason right now, people are trading amongst themselves via the internet or whatever else. These younger people are like, fuck y'all. We not buying into none of this bullshit you've been selling to our fathers and mothers. We gonna do this shit differently. And this shit going on all around them that they cannot control yet. But they will figure it out. And I'm sure they got somebody smarter than me who might have already done that. I think that's part of the reason why you get so much misinformation out there, because the more you know, the better you act. So if they can keep getting people to believe this bullshit, they can keep robbing them. But I'm saying, like, all of that is fucked up. And the other thing is that, to me, whatever you do doesn't fucking matter in Congress right now, because the Supreme Court is going to destroy anything that they can attach the words socialism to. So don't none of that shit mean nothing.
I disagree with that completely.
Okay.
I disagree with that completely. Now, y'all, we have said this about the Supreme Court. Y'all have said this about the Supreme Court as long as we've had this show. And I have said the same thing about the Supreme Court, and they've pretty much proven true, with the exception of voting laws. They've been super conservative, but they haven't wrote with...
With the exception of shit that make the government, they real cool.
Whoa. Fair enough. But that solution can be fixed. That solution can be legislation. So to say nothing that Congress does matters, it does matter. And did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze, but you're back.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you froze a couple times. You're all right.
That's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, you were just explaining to me. You were just explaining to me how Congress.
I understand where I'm at. I didn't get lost. I'm not that high. I'm mad that my signal is fucking. I apologize to everybody. So anyway, what I'm saying is to say that doesn't matter with the shit that doesn't matter in Congress is not being accurate to what's going on. These checks are going to make a difference to people. People getting money in your pocket. Getting money in your pocket makes a difference. And that's the difference between also with the ACA, because they did all that shit with the ACA. That shit didn't take effect until like 2013, really.
Well, the other thing too is like
they didn't actually get a benefit until then.
And then after that,
checks today.
Well,
but dig.
After that, you can't say about the ACA.
Feel me. Take a time out. Take a breath.
Okay.
After that, they elected Trump. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, after you have been given actual life.
Whoa!
They elected Trump.
That had nothing to do with
that's because of the ACA.
A lot of that gets put on. A lot of people put that on Obama.
Okay.
A lot of people put that on that was a reaction to Obama. That was also a very big reaction to Hillary. Like, I don't know that Trump beats almost any white dude. Like he didn't beat Biden. And Biden, we was cracking jokes about Biden last year, nigga. Like last year, part of my stand-up act was talking about how Biden needed to be walking off stage.
Here's the large difference between those two things: is that when the ACA was introduced, there was still a lot of like the general press about the ACA was still largely negative because every story that I was seeing was about somebody telling about how it's going to be a higher cost for somebody. And my argument was always like, who gives a shit? Like, we're going to give people some insurance. Like, I didn't care. But also, like, there are a lot of people, like, people didn't have, that benefit is not the same as cold hard cash. It's not the same. Like, the ACA was great and all, and a lot of people woke up one day and then had, like, health care, which is wonderful, but that is not the same. I know it, like, ideally you should be like, wow, you should be super fucking grateful you just got health care. But it's not the same. Like, a lot of those same people have been like, no, but I would rather just give me $800. There are people who have been like, I don't need no health care, just give me $800 and I'll figure it out on my own. You know what I mean? And so, like, I think the difference between those two things is really the fact that, like, this is straight up cash. You know what I mean? Like, we were just talking about reparations last week and how, like, the big opposition for people who were still in favor of reparations, they didn't want it to be for housing, they wanted to be fucking cash, right? And so there is something to be said for being like, we just came out of this pandemic, a lot of y'all either aren't working or you're taking jobs you don't want, you're working how many people are working a second job to make an extra $800 a month because they've got kids who can maybe cut those hours or now, like, really make out like a bandit or maybe give that job up altogether.
Like that scenario you're talking about, like somebody who has like 2 or 3 small children, like that money pays for daycare so that maybe the mom doesn't have to do fucking Uber. You know what I'm saying?
I think that y'all misunderstanding me. I think you're misunderstanding me. This country is not designed to do what people want it to do. It's not designed for that. And the reason it's not designed for that is because too few people have too much fucking control. So I don't give a fuck if you get a chicken in every pot and a fucking loaf of bread in every fucking cabinet. At the end of the goddamn day, your vote is not going to matter as much as somebody else's. Now,
I disagree.
Then tell me why Joe Manchin can hold shit up.
That's the root of the difference between our opinions on politics.
Well, I think there's two things at play here, and one is there's a question of, like, is there a potential to make a substantive change in the level at which people are living? And does that mean that there's more control in those people's lives over who's in charge, or some giving up in that, right? So I think what we're in the midst of right now is this country trying to figure out, the people who are in power are not looking to cede power. The negotiation is, how much of satisfaction do we have to give you for y'all to shut the fuck up? And
So
just
here's
let,
the thing.
and that's,
Here's the thing about this power thing that we keep talking about. Rob, this is where I have a stark disagreement with you about this country. As fucked up as this country is, when you said it's not set up for that, actually, that's the one brilliant thing that the motherfuckers did when they set it up. It's actually set up for that. Now, can the motherfuckers that's at the top, can they gerrymander or rig some shit to try to fix it for themselves? Yes, they can. If they keep moving them up, they can keep trying to move the thing. But what I'm saying is again, in our lifetime, in the 52 years you have been on this earth, you know good and goddamn well that the world is a better place for your black ass today than it was for your black ass when you was 10 years old. It's a vastly better, different place. And that's mostly through voting. That's mostly due voting and pressuring these motherfuckers to make them do shit. So I'd like to, when you say
There is no doubt.
Because
let me just tell you, there is no doubt that I am more comfortable than my grandparents were. But it does not mean that those decisions that are made to make me comfortable, I had anything to do with. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And what I'm saying to you, you could argue all of the flowery shit that you want to argue. Let me just make this, huh? What? I'm finna tell you what I think. Now, I could be wrong, and I will admit to that to everyone here. I could be wrong. But currently, I believe about 70% of the Congress is only represented by 30% of the people
Something
in
like
the
that.
Congress. Now, that's not by accident. And what I'm saying to you is, it's no way my vote could be the same in California as somebody who's in Florida. It's no way my vote could be the same in California as somebody in Idaho, in Montana. It's no way it could be the same, because what I want to do is not as important as the shit that they want to do, because they got just as much representation as I have. And that's all I'm saying.
They don't have just as much representation as you have. They have as much representation in the Senate as you have.
Then that's all, but that's the higher of the. Why do they call it the higher
that's
chamber?
the higher of the two. Yeah, it's the higher. I mean, you can't get it passed if you can't get that done. That's why there's the holdup we have right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's the House has passed a bunch of great shit that didn't get through the Senate from 2018 on.
Okay, let me say this last part of what I just realized that the Democrats have done that's brilliant. Not only are people getting these checks right now, and they're talking about it, and what I was about to say before Rob came in was that Obama refused to talk about what he did. This is Biden is out slam dunking, and I'm not slam dunking, dancing in the end zone on it. Also, in the $3.5 trillion
the budget resolution that they came out with.
Budget resolution that they have.
Yep.
Part of that is a measure to continue these payments. So just like once motherfuckers got health care, you couldn't take it away from them. Republicans trying to say that they don't want to pass this, and people realize that they finna lose that $800 a month because Republicans on some bullshit. Just like Republicans couldn't take away the ACA, they not gonna be able to take this shit away. And that's how you churn shit. That's how you twist it. You have to actually show people. And too much of politics, especially from the Democrat point of view, has just been putting some shit on TV and in the news and expecting that to work. You got to put shit in people's hands. You got to go out to them and show them, like, this is what's going to happen when you don't have this anymore. Or this is what they're trying to do.
I think the difference between your two arguments are like in scope, right? Like, I think where you guys miss each other is in the scope of where your issues are actually taking place. Whereas I think, XL, you're not wrong, right? In the battle between Democrats and Republicans, when it comes to who might be doing something a little bit better for the lesser guy. This is a major, obviously, yes, you can't look at this plan and be like, oh, you're going to give people $800, $900 a month. Yeah, of course that's fucking better than what the Republicans do. Yeah, there's no question that the Democrats are like, this is a good thing, right? Like, to look at this objectively and be like, it's a bad idea to give people who have to work 80 hours a week to supply for 3 kids. It's a bad, it's an insane thing to argue against what this plan is. Where Rob Scope is, I think, is looking at a larger picture than that and saying that there's still not control on his end of an actual freedom that is there. Is that what you're saying? Is that like at the end of the day, it's what you're seeing is this reshuffling of the deck where there's not an actual change of power going on here. There's a chance. Thank goodness. Yes, it is a positive that people who were living in poverty may be raised out of some power. That's a good thing.
Definitely gonna help my little sister.
But like it's what this is what we're running into is an issue of like the idea that capitalism is a thing that you can just fix a few things and then it's going to work. And
I think I 100% believe that. I believe capitalism.
You believe that. Yeah, see, yeah, and I don't think you do, and you don't. And that's the difference, right?
I think if it does, in order for it to have to work, somebody else would have to be making the decisions than the people who've done it for the last 400 years.
Right. And so that's what your fundamental difference is in this. This is why you guys come to odds, because your scope is different. Because XL, in no way are you questioning whether capitalism is the right idea. You just think your approach is like, if we can tinker with it right, then we can make it function so that like we could just keep the system going and everything is fine. And I think Rob's scope is larger than that, in that he sees the people who are currently in these small amount of people who have the most amount of money, these small amount of people who represent, are these people that hold mass control of power, who represent such a tiny amount of people, make it so that even if they make it so that you might be able to eat a little bit better, you're not really going to be able to get to run shit. It's like, yeah, you're still going to be in the low class. You're just going to be in the low class with bread. Is that what you're...
Absolutely. You have more coupons than you had the day before.
I strongly disagree with that. There are like literally thousands of millionaires that look like me now that were not when I was a kid. Like Black Millionaire was such a joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm. But you're not disagreeing. You're not disagreeing. You're fulfilling what my claim of your belief is, and that is that like because of the tweaks that have been made, the proof that capitalism can work is that there's more Black millionaires.
Well, I don't believe it's not. I'm putting a lot of faith in capitalism in this, and that's not where I'm putting my faith in. I'm putting my faith more in the Constitution and what we can do with Congress and what we can do with voting. I put my faith more in democracy than I am in capitalism.
Those things are in sync in this country. That when America says democracy, when they're talking about other countries, they're talking about capitalism.
Nothing else. Nothing else.
That's pure bread and simple. When they're talking about what's going on in Cuba right now, they're talking about, and they want democracy. They're talking about that we should instill capitalism here, and everything would be better.
Because and I'm gonna tell you, I've said this before several times. Democracy, capitalism is the engine for democracy. That was when I was ignorant enough to believe that. What I'm starting to see is that it is not. Like it is not. What any system that would put you in a position that you'd have to kill your own children is not a good system. Now, that I can't go past that. Feel me.
You have to kill your own children.
Feel me. Why do people get abortions? Most of the time in my community, and I'm not talking about for the larger everyone else, but from what I can see, everybody that I know that ever had one, because they couldn't afford to keep the kid. You see what I'm saying? That is a big part of it. And any system that would allow that to be a part of that system, it ain't right. I don't know what the answer is, but I've never lived in another system.
Wait, is this an anti-abortion?
It's an anti-capitalism thought.
I think you're doing way too much with abortion right there.
Dig what I'm saying. Dude. What is
the wannabe parents?
I'm saying that could be the case, but as I qualified before it, Everybody that's been around me, the reason they didn't want a kid because they knew they couldn't afford it. They knew that they had to be in their house with their mama. They knew that you understand what I'm saying? We already on food
Well,
stamps.
I mean, I think the freedom to be able to, I think the freedom to be able to do what you want with your bodies is kind of vital, and I think that's an important thing.
I agree with you, but what if you didn't want that abortion? What if economics dictated
If you didn't
that?
want that abortion, whether or not you got pregnant, you were in control of before you got pregnant. So the like blaming capitalism because you made bad decisions. And fuck that. Like you could have taken a pill or used a condom and not got pregnant. So I don't want to blame capitalism because you got an abortion.
If that's your view, I can't argue with you.
Here's the reality: is that none of it.
Where's personal responsibility, man? That's the Republican coming out of me. But goddamn,
I'm just saying, if that's your view, I can't argue with you.
You gonna blame capitalism because you got pregnant when you didn't want to get pregnant?
Like I said, I think your difference is in
your
belief.
You didn't have the money before you got pregnant, fam.
Dig this. There have
been.
Wait. I'm saying, like,
you should have had the money.
How many times have you ever made a mistake? That's what I'm saying. Like, you're putting it in a flawless situation that you know that's not flawless. But again, if that is,
don't blame capitalism for that.
If the ultimate reason why I didn't want to have this kid is because I didn't have enough money to feed it, then that is the fault of capitalism.
No, it's not, because you shouldn't have got fucking pregnant.
You
knew that before you had sex.
Okay.
You knew you couldn't afford the kid before you had sex.
The dude that just told me.
Okay. The mistake wasn't capitalism.
Look at how much XL loves capitalism.
I'm just saying, like,
I've had this guy. He's never gotten so loud of. I've never even seen him get this loud over Jay-Z, and he loves Jay-Z. This nigga gets loud over capitalism than Jay-Z, which is amazing.
Dude, if
this man just make
this one quick point.
Hold on. XL, you are very. I mean, I know you love money, but you are very. You're standing real hard for capital. You're capping for capitalism right now. No cap.
My man.
I understand.
20 seconds.
You've exploded so hard, no one can even get anything.
Let me just get this one thing off.
Yeah.
The only fucking reason capitalism works is because of fucking slavery. And so I can't be on its side ever. Right? I can never be on its side. So when I see a little girl saying, I can't feed this baby, I got to get rid of it, I'm thinking that's because the Head Start that you giving these people is not working for you. And that's all I am saying.
White people who can afford to keep and get abortions too.
I bet you what I'm saying to you, in the community that I live in, where I see people every day. That's the only thing I could tell you the perspective of.
And all I'm saying to you is, Bob, before they had sex,
whatever the fuck your name is, he's so gassed up on it.
Before they had sex, they knew that. They knew they.
And I'm saying, before this was even a place, somebody else lived here, and it was stolen from them, and it was built with stolen labor. And if we do have to, wow, okay,
that ain't got nothing to do with somebody not pulling out.
Okay.
Guys, here's the thing though. It's not gonna matter because we're all gonna be dead. I mean, we can argue this for the next hour, but it doesn't matter because we're all gonna be dead. There's an Oregon wildfire right now, displaced 2,000 residents. Blazes flaring across the United States West Coast. The smoke is gonna reach New York City, by the way, which is the entire country. So, like. You know,
but there's no global warming or nothing like that.
The fires are so bad. 2,000 residents have got to move out of Oregon because of this fire that's going on. More than 227,000 acres of desiccated timber that's been burnt up basically since July 6th. So what is today?
This is Oregon. Oregon is usually wet and green.
Today's the 16th. So in 10 days, 227,000. Acres of fucking land has been destroyed by fires because it's too fucking hot, because we love styrofoam and whatever the fuck else we're doing that doesn't work. And here's the thing, my only problem with all this the global warming arguments is like they're always just like, here's what you citizen can do to cut down on your carbon footprint, which I think is important, right? Like I recycle, I understand all that shit. But at the same time, like when it comes to the actual mass producers of the problem, right? Like it ain't me. I'm not the guy, right? Like I'm not the dude who's doing it. You know what I mean?
I just wanted some water. You put it in this bottle.
Now, I don't want to get back into this capitalism argument again.
Toxic ass bottle. Nigga, I just wanted the water. You don't want to pick this toxic ass bottle because it was 2 cents cheaper.
I know.
Right?
Like,
Capitalism.
Look,
It's
I'm
not
not saying
capital.
another goddamn thing about this nigga is 6 foot a million. I'm not going to say another goddamn thing about capitalism. It is wonderful. God bless
Well,
us all.
I guess this next subject is probably going to be tough because the heat. Hold on. Look at him. He's gonna see. Look at him. He's just.
Right back in. You said something.
gonna-
It was cool, but I said something. He's right back in.
So listen. This is not. Hold on. This is.
I got one kid, nigga. I got one kid. You know what the fuck? I got one kid.
This is.
On purpose.
This is the next thing is probably not going to help this discussion. It turns out that the heat wave has hit poor neighborhoods harder.
That's because they won't get enough abortions.
They knew it was going to be hot when they moved in the motherfucking neighborhood.
You knew it was going to be summer sooner or later.
Nigga. This neighborhood is called Hell's Kitchen.
Oh man, yeah,
man, that's
seven,
Come on, man. Come
se-
on, man. Y'all know I ain't like that.
seven
I ain't
degrees.
going to keep doing this to me.
So,
To me.
7 degrees Fahrenheit warmer in poor neighborhoods than it was in neighborhoods where, you know, they can afford to have AC and live fucking acres apart from each other. That's not obviously a crazy thing, but what scientists have come out and said is that the real natural disaster that's going to be the big killer is going to be heat. It's not going to be earthquakes. It's not going to be floods. It's not going to be tornadoes. It's heat because it
All
is.
the water going to be gone into place.
Well, not only that, but like that's the shit where like if you're old and you're hot and you don't have air conditioning, you're gonna fucking die. It gets too
Dude,
hot
I
for you,
remember-
man.
how many summers ago was that where it was like old people were getting wiped out like crazy because in Chicago because of heat wave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we have a large unhoused population that we need to do something about. You know, I know there were what was it, 100 and some odd deaths that happened in the Portland area. I think over this last heat wave that just came through. It's 40 degrees higher than it's supposed to be in Portland right now. It's
Yeah.
insane. They did scientific models of it, and they were just like, "This is a thing that without the without human involvement, without CO2, all the shit that humans do to put out carbon dioxide, this would never happen. There's no way this would ever happen. There would never be a change like this.
Yeah.
You know,
And the fact that everybody on the planet isn't up in arms against corporations that like spew this shit out doesn't make sense to me because like you can see this shit happening, and this shit feels like that, like as I would refer to the people who Rob calls in power. This shit feels like they made some contract with aliens or some shit. And they're just
they're trying to go to space. They're getting the fuck out of here. I'm telling you, once the minute they're like, oh yeah, this shit works, we can get to Mars like this, no problem. It'll be on. All them robots they use to build hospitals in a day in Japan and shit, like all that shit, it'll be all in. They'll buy all them contracts. Amazon's worth $1 trillion, right? Amazon will buy up that whatever that company is that was building hotels in a day over in Japan or whatever. They'll buy that motherfucker. The minute they know
Bobby,
they can tear, yeah.
How could he afford to do that?
He's a very smart man who named a bookstore after a rainforest.
That he's destroying.
Which, by the way, the Amazon rainforest is releasing more greenhouse gases than it's absorbing for the first time ever. Which means there's not enough of them. We've taken all those trees
What did they do with the trees, Bobby? Why would they take them?
to make lumber, to make books,
Hey,
to
nigga,
make.
You act like you're not sitting there in creature comforts like a motherfucker your damn self. You are just as much a part of this problem
So-
as everything else.
My personal comfort is the reason for all this shit.
Only your comfort is the reason for this shit. The
It's
fact
okay.
that we could go, dude. Do you know the fact? I mean, look, man. I know that we not the people in fucking control, but we are also living on the Death Star. So like we ain't Darth Vader, nigga. We not even Sith.
I mean,
We're not even Sith.
we can't
But
get
are
off.
definitely-
We can't get off the Death Star, but we don't have a starship. We're not the star. It's not like we own the yachts, man. You know what I mean?
know,
like,
but I'm
like
saying
no,
that
no.
it's
Like the reality is, when it comes down to the actual polluters, like the actual individual humans' level of pollution is not as large as what companies put out. And also on top of that. Also, on top of that, why do they put out that pollution? Because they've spent billions of dollars marketing to you to sell you the shit that you buy. That's why you buy the shit, because you've been sold the bill of goods on it.
But I can also tell you that they sometimes, and you have seen this shit before. Just I'll give you an example right now. Paper straws. They have tried to get us to do the right fucking thing. And
dude, we should have five. We should have 5 versions.
Right thing,
we should have like 5 versions less of.
Back to the bullshit. We end up going back to the bullshit thing because we won't do the fucking right. Dude, it took.
We should have 5 less versions of the iPhone and no homeless people. That's what should be happening. And instead, this is what we have. And so, like, I'm not going to take on my own personal blame for having a up-to-date phone when I'm not the person to be looked at, when the real problem is these corporations that have done this stuff. You understand as a collective, when you say these corporations, you make it sound like if they were like, we're not going to make a new fucking phone for 5 years until we can get everybody housed, I would live with it. I go, okay, that's what we need to do.
But then they would go out of
I don't make that shit. I don't make the shit. I didn't set up the program. I just was born into it.
Because they didn't make a new product.
That's the model. The model is we have to get these people addicted to shit so that they will keep using it and keep buying it. And then we'll sell them some more shit, and they'll have to get that shit. And we use marketing. We'll create a whole industry that'll do marketing. And then we can pay people a whole bunch of money to do that marketing. And we'll set the rules on how that marketing is, and then we'll regulate the marketing so we can pay somebody to check the regulators. And how to do that. We'll set up all these little cottage industries inside of that. And then you got to learn how to do all these special things, or else you're fucking homeless. That's what capitalism is.
Is it because he's a better physical specimen
and because
than me?
and because this one guy, like his dad had some money that he gave him, and he could buy a thing that was already set up like that, and then he gives away some money every once in a while. We're like, wow, look at that! What a great fucking
he's
guy!
He's a phenomenal person.
Let's call it the fucking.
Even though why
don't we send him to space?
Even though we're burning up Portland,
he can do whatever he wants to do on Mars. Just let him have it.
I don't disagree with your take on billionaires and that we should be taking a large sum of fucking money from them. I don't have a problem with that. But again, the point that I was trying to make is when you say corporations do all these things and they get us addicted, they didn't get you addicted to iPhones. They created a product that fucking fulfilled a need that we had. Like there was a need. They
needed an iPhone in 1930, and they didn't have them. So
I'm just. And didn't you?
We have the technology.
But wait. Didn't you tell me one time that they can change the way the signal works to make your item work harder and not be able to work anymore? So then you are pushing me to buy it. So not only
they create products with timed obsolescence. They create products with timed obsolescence. After a while, the products, the materials that they use will go bad on purpose because that's how they get you to buy another one.
But you don't have to have an iPhone.
You don't.
You can get I right now am using a Note 9 because I didn't want to go up to a new phone.
You don't, but you have to participate in the system at a level that allows you to actually participate in the system. If you're going to make it in this country, you've got to have a phone that has access to be able to get to accounts because they don't take this, that, or the other at this other place anymore. The only way you can buy this item that you need is to go on here, but they take this payment. You got to have the phone to get on there, or you got to have a laptop, which means you got to have another product that has also got planned obsolescence.
But you don't have to have the.
Or you can go live in the woods. Or you can go live in the woods, right? But like
I don't see nothing wrong with living in the woods.
The way it's set up is that like even at the lowest level, the house you are participating in the process. So like this idea of just like, well, if you don't like it, don't like you still participating in it. Well, there's no way to not participate in the process and be like involved.
Okay, but all I'm saying is acknowledge that participation a little bit because we are part of this shit too. We are not completely victims in it. We are also feeding the fucking.
I
beast
couldn't
that
imagine
is feeding
fucking
us.
getting on a spaceship while there are homeless people. I'm
You
sorry.
are-
I'm not capping for that.
That's understand. I'm
Right?
not capping for it either. I'm not capping for it either. But you use Amazon, man. Like you hate Jeff Bezos, but you use Amazon. Don't use Amazon.
No, the problem. No, the problem isn't that the thing should be absolved. The problem is that the actual this idea of like you have to boycott all the shit you don't like, and that's the only way you can prove it's no good. No, just tax the motherfucker.
Yeah,
Tax him. I still am gonna use. I still have to use the shit. Tax him.
I'm not taxing him. That's my trick to fucking fix capitalism. Is to just tax the fuck like a $50 billion.
You don't even have to do that with modern monetary theory. You don't even have to like fuck it. It's our money. We made it up. Like let him keep it. Go to space if you want to go to space. I honestly don't give a fuck. But like create more opportunities so that anybody can fucking find a way to go to space or not if they don't want to. Who gives a shit? Like who cares? Make all the spaceships. Destroy their like whatever we're planning on doing. Like this thing where like does he need to pay his fair share of taxes? Yes. Do I want to make Jeff Bezos the hero by fucking finally draining his wealth accounts? That's not my goal. I could give a shit about that.
I don't want to drain
I care
his wealth
about I care about housing
$180
people.
million.
I care about housing people and feeding people and giving more people an equity when it comes to opportunity. That's what I care about. And less and less holdups on that happening. And the system as it currently stands isn't there.
Man, I'm not against hey man, I'm not against any of that. I'm not against any of that. I'm just not blaming capitalism for people making bad choices in the bedroom.
Well,
If
I
it
think
controls
Rob's saying is
everything you
it's
do,
connected.
then it
There's a
ain't-
connection
right,
that leads
it's
to
no
all
way
that.
to
The
get
reason why someone
around
ends
it.
up in a position where they are in a financial situation is because there is no like assured safety in case you do have a problem, which you could just maintain a child if you wanted to. Is I think what the point of that is.
And when they did have it, they changed the law to make sure they didn't have it anymore.
There are some excellent children that are out there right now. Zayla Avant-Garde, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Please remind me.
She just won the spelling bee.
Oh, yes.
She what an amazing kid, man. This kid won the I didn't know a whole lot about her, and then I heard about her winning the spelling bee, and so I checked it out because I heard like her like celebration of it was like super like, you know, she had a cool celebration when she went, she like spun in a circle and they dropped confetti, which was all cool. And then I saw
it was such a little kid, like almost Disney,
like a dream moment, right?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up, and I looked up like, oh, let's find out some more about her. And the first thing I find is her playing basketball. She's fucking nice, bro. Look at her, man. She's got like Guinness World Records for dribbling basketballs.
Oh, no.
She's got Guinness World Records for dribbling basketballs, like 2 or 3 Guinness World Records for dribbling basketballs. And then like I saw some clip of her playing in an actual like pickup game or something. She was just crushing my
Bacon it. I'm not there anymore. I'm over here.
I was just like, holy cow. Like we were joking earlier about how they bred us to be a certain way, but holy shit, man. Like that, like, you know. That's
I did get to see that clip.
I love when you see a great combination of like smarts and athleticism. You know what I mean? Like it was a big thing my parents always pushed for. X, I know you come from a education and sports family. I know you've got doctors and hoopers in your family, so I'm assuming those are both vital important things.
Yeah. A book in one hand, crossing the nigga over with the other. So
like the optimist in me looks at someone like that and goes, this is great. This is like, yeah, more of this. I want more. Like, these are the people that we need to highlight. I want to follow this lady's career. I want to see her be awesome as an adult. Like, it was like when I think there's a football player named, I think it's like his last name was Roll. He was a Rhodes Scholar and a linebacker, and I was like, that's a dope shit. And now every once in a while he's on CNN. He's Dr. Roll, and he's a fucking head physician somewhere. I'm like, yeah, this guy did it.
Dude, I think he got drafted, and I think he sat out his first year or two to be a Rhodes Scholar.
Right.
Then played for like a few years, and he's like, "Well, that's enough brain damage. I'm still a genius."
I still got enough sense to know it's time to leave.
It was dope, man. I was like, nah, that's some badass shit. This dude was like, because when he was like, I'm going to take a year and be a Rhodes Scholar, everybody was like, wow, are you sure you're a really awesome football player? And he's like, football is going to be here. I'm going to go be a genius for a minute.
Smart.
It was just like,
I mean, just think about
Other
it.
talents.
Like people talk about like football players in their rookie couple seasons, they'll make that much money. He probably made $2-3 million playing football, but the nigga's a genius. So $2-3 million for him, that's lifetime. He's gold. Like it's a genius unless he has some
Also,
kind of gambling debt.
Also, if you're like, he's a brother who is a Rhodes Scholar, right? Like, $2-3 million is almost should be chump change in that man's life when it's all said and done, right?
Yeah,
like,
when everything's said and done.
You better capitalize on that
Yes,
shit. You better
have no choice.
And he's a really good looking brother too. Like,
Yeah.
He got the full package. This nigga got the Superman package.
Yeah, he was like a linebacker, so he was fucking built, and he's fucking a handsome man. He's a doctor. He's a Rhodes Scholar. Just like, all right, man, whatever the fuck you want to
jumping
do.
into life like, fuck it, give me what you got. He's like, nope, I want it all. I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna just hold out here and get all the good shit. Speaking of capitalizing, Naomi Osaka has a new
Yes.
Barbie doll that came out. It sold out in hours. It sold out in hours, which is pretty cool because there was a thing recently where she backed out of a tournament because she had concerns about her mental health, and she had stepped away from the game for a minute. And there was a lot of, the thing that happens whenever somebody brings up their mental health. There's this pushback between the old guard of people that are just like,
Fuck how you feel.
shake it off. You know what I mean?
Rub some dirt on it. Some dirt on it. Just fine.
Just have a fucking shot of tequila. You'll be fine. You're fucking.
Man,
It takes 10 minutes, go cry in the corner, and then come back, and you'll be. I don't ever hear that shit ever again. Is the whole
Hey,
right?
man, my son just started playing ball, and I've been trying to coach him, and it's been everything I could do to fight from being that type of coach. I actually had to say something to him yesterday. I said, every now and then I get like a little excited, and it might sound like I'm being really critical of you. And
I just love
apologize.
capitalism.
that's the reason we got all this shit. So don't shit on
I
me.
just see you're about to make $1 billion,
and we are good, baby.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. You're one of my best friends on this planet.
I hate that y'all make it sound like y'all make it sound like I'm Black Mr. Monopoly.
I know, like you
Black
Joe Money over there. So we got to enslave a few Negroes as well.
He like this weed with $100 bills and shit. Like,
I'm trying to hustle this shit too.
No, I'm just fucking with
playing,
you.
just playing.
But it is cool that not only did she get a Barbie doll that came out that with her on it, but also that sold out as quickly as it did.
Yes.
She is
Her
Haitian.
mom actually kind of look like her.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool deal, man. It's a neat thing to see.
and now, is it a Mattel item?
Yeah, it's a straight up.
It's an actual Barbie.
It's a real ass Barbie doll, man. It's a no joke, which is a cool thing to see happen. Something that wasn't as cool. England had a soccer match with Italy. It was the finals of what was it?
I love that.
This is my non-soccer fan version
Any
of
soccer
it.
fans watching this, like England had a match with Italy, the Euro final.
The Euro final. Oh shit!
Oh, my bad.
Let me fucking get my tea and crumpets real quick.
The Euro final, my good
Surprise,
man.
surprise! XL also very into soccer. He's an international. He also likes F1 racing, fine champagnes, and
Hey, just so you know, the number one fucking racer in F1 racing is a brother.
yeah, Lewis Hamilton. He's dope. That's the only reason I've even looked at F1. Anyway, what happened? You do watch soccer. You know what happened.
I tell you, it came down to penalty kicks. The championship, the final came down to penalty kicks.
Euro final's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. They have like we have the Super Bowl or the NBA finals. Soccer in Europe has three different big finals. It's the Champions League, the World Cup, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
Their own league championships, but the Euro League is kind of like right below World Cup.
Okay.
As far as like it's a
So
big deal.
it's a big deal. It's up there.
Yeah, and European countries are kind of like, you know how Indiana and Illinois kind of have a rivalry with high school basketball and shit like that? We talk shit back and forth. Well, Spain and England talk shit to each other. Italy and France and so forth talk shit to each other like that. So being the Euro champ for 4 years is a big fucking deal for Italy.
Right.
But the story that you're talking about is there's 5 people who get to take a penalty kick, and 3 of England's team players missed, and there was the last 3 in a row, and then 3 of England's best players, like they wouldn't be in the final without these 3 dudes.
Right.
And they all fucking missed.
And they're all brothers.
And they're all brothers. They're all black.
God damn.
It blew my mind that they missed.
We've
Like,
been
all
see,
that
but
400
here's the
years
deal.
worth of shit.
Well, see, here's the deal though. That was England. See, now they've been breeding us over here. I don't know what the fuck they were doing in England.
They was over there having tea and crumpets. That's what they was doing.
No, I'm just fucking around. So they missed the penalty kicks.
yeah.
They lose the game.
They missed the penalty kicks. They lose the game. It was really fucking intense. Like people who don't really dig soccer, don't understand soccer, get mad when you talk about penalty kicks. But if you watch that shit in the moment, that shit was intense as fuck. And I knew if you look at my Twitter, XL Comedy, if you look at my Twitter, literally the instant that they missed that last kick, I tweeted some shit about that. It's going to be a bad day for black soccer.
They got to go be
players in England.
DJs now. They have to go be.
And get on the app that I'm on now.
All those
Bigo.
all those black English dudes got to go be DJs now. That's the rule.
Yeah, it's wild too, because like I said, they wouldn't have been at the final if it wasn't for Raheem Sterling and Jordan.
Oh no, his name was Raheem too. Oh my god.
Man, they really don't get
his
it.
brother named
Man.
Raheem. I can't think of Saka, Sterling, and Sashon.
They got for real black. They like obvious black names too, so that you can find them probably when you look them up in the English yellow pages or whatever the fuck. You probably just find them cats real easy.
Kick
Like
missing Negroes,
this
please.
Yeah.
Alexa.
Yeah, that's England. Yeah,
and
surprise.
they like big niggas like Richard Sherman.
Like, surprise.
Look at me, I'm trying to do Bobby's job.
Look at that. Yeah, Richard Sherman, also former what was he, cornerback for a couple of different teams. Played for Seattle. Played for a few different teams. He was arrested this past week. They released the video of him trying to get into this house. I don't know what the fuck he was mad about, but he is up on this doorbell trying to get in here, and then starts yelling, "Come through!" Here, I think this is the video. Are we showing this, James?
Yeah.
He gets real mad in like 3 seconds. Look, he's like,
Mother, I'm coming in there, bitch.
he for real thought he was gonna burst through that door. That's crazy. That's a lot of effort. I don't know.
Hey.
Those were family members he had inside. I don't know what exactly was going on. Somebody stole some money from him. Maybe I don't know anything about the story outside of that.
Wait, do you know that somebody stole some money from
No,
him?
I'm saying I don't know anything. I don't know anything about the story.
Why was he angry? What was going on?
Yeah, those are family members. That's a family member's house he's trying to get into. So I'm not sure.
What's really interesting about it is that this is Richard Sherman. Like, if you're not familiar, if you're not an NFL,
It's a Stanford. This is a Stanford guy.
Yeah, and a stand-up dude, like a cat that if you didn't know he played football, listening to him speak, you would not know he played football.
Right. You'd be like, oh, he's another Rhodes Scholar. He's another.
Yeah. And so for him, and he has a very like public image. He's the ambassador for University of Phoenix, which is not that big of a deal. But the name of the stadium he plays in, they own that motherfucker. So I'm pretty sure he got a nice check for that. But I'm saying he has a public presence that this type of behavior. Like this would be like Chris Paul if you're an NBA fan. This would be like Chris Paul, or if you're a hip hop fan and don't know who we're talking about, this would be like Common.
I mean, if you're a hip hop fan, you probably know something about the NBA or the NFL. It's just going to be a wild guess. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's possibly the case.
I'm only talking. I'm talking to black nerds, possibly. I don't know.
And some other stuff before we get out of here. I know X is going to love this. The co-creator of Dogecoin. Isn't on social media a whole lot. He used to have a YouTube channel. He came out saying that cryptocurrency is an inherently right-wing, hyper-capitalistic technology built primarily to amplify the wealth of its proponents through a combination of tax avoidance, diminished regulatory oversight, and artificially enforced scarcity. That's the guy who made Dogecoin.
Yeah.
The co-creator. I know you love this.
I love this. This is the best.
James is not a fan of this. James is not a fan of this.
That's not capitalism. This ain't this whole.
Yeah, but that. Hey man, look when I like y'all. Capitalism, man. I don't give a fuck about capitalism. I give a fuck about
stability,
civil war, having to go to war over whatever the fuck will happen.
The concept of like when you just say capitalism isn't just motherfuckers ripping people off. Capitalism does provide opportunity and shit like that. It's just that it's a combination of motherfucking racism in the government and these motherfuckers on some bullshit has stopped that. However, you can use capitalism if you shift the dynamic to people who you've been keeping out of the game. Yes. You can use capitalism to do all the things that you want done. Correct. And that's all I'm saying.
But that same capitalism that you use and you do that, then they come back and burn all your shit down. Then then where are you?
Yeah, our history of growing is
that's racism.
Yeah, but you can't.
Dig what I'm saying.
Hold on, because a lot of times people talk about racialized capitalism as if it's a separate thing from capitalism, and it's not. Racialized capitalism is capitalism because capitalism always is built on taking advantage of racial differences. That is how capitalism has worked in all the places that it works. That's the source of it.
No,
that's the source of it.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
I mean, you can argue. Here's the deal. You can argue with Ibram Kendi on that because that's a quote from him. You can get to an argument with him on that. But the reality is like that is how capitalism started here. Was based off of
yes. I don't disagree with that at all. But I'm saying that racism is why that's how that started here, because when they started that here, they also had white people in the fields too until they figured out, oh no, we can use this racism shit to control both these motherfuckers.
The thing about capitalism and the racialism behind capitalism. Hold on.
Inherently racist.
Yes, the situation with capitalism and its racism is that the unfortunate part of it is that low on the totem pole white people will get swept up in the same bullshit that fucks up low on the totem pole people of color. And the crazy thing about capitalist societies is those broke-ass white people, instead of looking at the white people in charge, this is why capitalism is racialized. Because those broke white people, instead of looking at the white people who are running shit and going, oh, the problem is this system we have, will instead look at the black people and either hate them indiscriminately or will go, at least I'm not those people. And that is all the source of the same capitalism.
Okay.
That's not different.
And what I'm saying to you is,
I want it to work too.
And what I'm saying to you is, I'll give you an example: the opioid crisis. Okay, the Sackler family, with the opioid crisis, they were selling that shit to white people.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck who they were selling it to.
No, they don't.
They were selling it to white people.
They don't.
That's not
proof that racism is not a part of capitalism.
What I'm saying is it's corruption that is your problem. It is racism that is your problem. It is not the capitalism. The capitalism is
But you couldn't have the capitalism without the racism.
Okay, let me explain. Let me say all capitalism says is that you have the ability. Oh
no! In theory, I understand exactly what it says. In theory, it's like racism isn't explicitly listed in capitalism as a tenet. It's just how it succeeds. It doesn't succeed without. Of course, if you look in the book, it's Adam Smith isn't like, and also you got to lock these niggers up and make them slaves. It doesn't say that in the motherfucking book, man. It's just that's how the process works to make it happen. And you have to create an otherism. And that other is easy to create among racial lines.
I don't know a system that humans have that will not create an otherism. I think a lot of what you're lodging at capitalism is
like you can have racism.
I'm saying a lot of stuff that you're lodging
socialism is an exact rejection of things like gender and race as determiners.
Let me just ask you.
It's a specific rejection of that.
If we look at the world, who are the happiest people in the world? In the entire world, who gets the most? Who has the best lives?
Rich people.
Outside, I'm talking about country by country. Yeah, rich people everywhere doing it.
Norwegians? Are they somewhere there? Icelandics, Swedes, or some shit? Yeah.
Because they don't have to worry about day-to-day living. They have a lot of shit that they don't have to go get. They just have it. And that's what I mean. We have been taught to have anything, you have to buy it. Someone has to buy it. That's because that's what capitalism is. Now, why are those people so much happier than we are? And we are supposed to be number one. So that's what I'm saying. What's the point if I'm not happy? You know, I just don't see.
Well, for 7 niggas to go to space, we got to get these 7 niggas out to space. If we don't get these 7 niggas out to space, I don't know what we're gonna do. We may do another. We may have to do another thing to just talk about some of the bullshit we want to talk about this week because we're short on time now. But actually, you got.
We didn't even get to Loki. We didn't.
Yeah, I know. I want to talk this Loki season finale, but we are getting to the end of our time here, man.
If we talk Loki season finale next week, then nobody can talk shit about spoilers.
Yeah, that's true. You can't.
This is 2 days later. That's fine. A week later, fuck you and your spoilers.
Yeah, we'll talk about Space Jam and Loki next week. I don't know if I'm going to watch Space Jam. I
am not.
Let's be honest. The original Space Jam was also not great. Okay, let's just wait a second. Everybody on Space Jam is black. Space Jam's gonna be awesome. I'm buying it at the crib. No, see, here's the thing. I want to live in a world where it's okay for some black shit to fail and we just move on. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to live in a world where I have to cheer for I gotta even cheer for the shitty black shit. No, I want to be able to be like, no, that's garbage.
You gotta keep it.
But but that doesn't mean you can't let us keep doing shit. Like,
let me get on both sides of this issue real quick. I agree with you, Bobby, but his thought is the reality. But on top of all that, I'm not watching the shit because I didn't watch the first one. You know what I'm saying? I have no reason to see.
XL, are you out anywhere this week? You do anything?
Yeah, actually tonight. That's why I'm not there in the studio with you guys.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm at the office in Yorkville.
Oh, Yorkville at the office. Okay.
I'm at the Yorkville office. It's me, Amy, Blaze, TJ Remick, and I don't know somebody else, and I'm forgetting their name, and I apologize. Jared Ellis.
Okay.
Jared Ellis' show.
Okay.
If you know any of those people, if you don't know any of those people, you know me. Fucking come.
Yeah,
me.
come on, check them out. If you're out in the suburbs of Chicago tonight, anywhere, where can people find out more information on you, man?
At XL Comedy on Twitter. That's where you should come look for me is on Twitter. I am trying to stop fucking with
the Zuckerberg.
The Zuckerberg. I hate him, and I really want to stop fucking. See, that's what I stand by what I believe.
He's gonna get banned. He's gonna get banned again next week on Facebook. Rob, what you got, man? You going back to LA, right?
Yeah, I'm going back to LA Monday. I got some shows in LA. I'm gonna be hanging out. I'm gonna be hanging out and getting some things done. We're gonna make some more sketches. I'm coming back so we can get some things done. Robert L. Hines, Robert_L_Hines on all social media. And catch me on this new app called Bigo, B-I-G-O.
B-I-G-O. Check it out. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus. I've got shows coming up towards the end of this month. Catch all those there. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at that spot. You can go to itsbobbyhill.com for more of that stuff too. Get over to @NewOGsPod to find out more information about our shows and where we're going to be live. We put up all of our show dates and stuff on there as well. Get to People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram. Follow them. Go watch their shows. Find out where James Webb is and go see whatever the fuck he's doing because you know that's where the talent's going to be. Catch us back here next week. That's it. That's what's up, y'all. We out of here.
They can try to steal the moves, but they ain't us. Think you gang, but nigga, you a stranger. Bitches wanna fuck, but nigga, you can't blame us. You can't. Bitch, you better play your role. I feel like Nelly when